I should say.
We'll call to order the finance meeting for Thursday, September 14th at 6 PM. First action item, approval of the minutes from July 6th.
I'll make a motion to approve the July 6, 2023 minutes.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Second item, discussion possible action, copier printer program information technologies.
Okay, as John Nowakowski's walking up, we have a resolution in the packet to make the award for the copier printer contract to Canon. This will be for the amount of $1,597.98 a month. We've got a good price on black and white copies, .01464, and color, .032. And we'll let John take it away with any more details.
So that's the highlight. That was the best pricing we got. We did talk to Kyocera, UBO, A&A Office Systems out of Middletown, also Canon. Canon was very aggressive with their pricing. UBO and Kyocera, pretty close, pretty similar. UBO had the most ongoing costs, the price per print for the fleet maintenance, repairs, stuff like that. That covers all that stuff. So really what it boils down to is we feel that we've gotten the best price we could for the printer fleet, considering everybody else is pretty much quoting state pricing.
The only question I got, John, what was the cost before the contract? What are we going to? Do you know that?
The cost before the contract, I don't.
Yeah, I think it's 1,000, what did I write down, 516, so just like
So
about
under
a
a
5%.
$100 increase.
Right,
Okay.
yeah.
And that also includes a large format printer for the
Yep.
engineering
I saw
department
that.
as well.
Just real quick, as we go to more technology and more maybe paperless type of environment, are we able to cut down the number of devices, or I know there's still certain things that have to be printed, so you can't go completely, so I didn't know.
So we try and cut down devices wherever possible. This is actually going to eliminate, I believe, two devices.
So you're doing that already, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
great.
so we're trying to consolidate wherever
Yeah.
possible.
No, I know you can't ever get rid of everything because there's certain things you need to print, but that's great that we were able to do that, so. With that, I'll make a motion to move to the consent agenda for the town council meeting on Monday, what's the date of that? 18th town council meeting. The resolution for the copier and printers for the Tower Management Program to be approved with the bid going to
Canon
Canon Solutions America for $1,597.98 a month.
I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0. Thanks, John.
You're welcome.
Welcome to stay if you don't feel pressure. Discussion, possible action, salary for registrar of voters.
Okay, so we have a resolution for the registrars. Historically, they have done 2-year plans for their salary increases, and beginning on the January, we somehow managed to miss them on the January 1st, and we're bringing this ideally to go retroactive to the January 1, 2023. Funds are available to accommodate that as well. And this is looking at a 3% increase for the registrars and from the $20 to $20.60 for the deputies.
I don't have any
I
comments.
have no questions.
With that, I'll make a motion to approve to send to the consent agenda for the Monday Town Council meeting, the resolution regarding the registrar of voters' salary for 2023 and 2024 to increase the hourly rate to $20.60.
I will second. Any further discussion?
No.
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0. Item 4, discussion, possible action, transfer of funds concentration.
Okay, this is our usual year end, although we're probably a little past year end. This will be the transfers needed to bring each department budget line within balance. You can see that there, I won't go through every one, I promise, but for the most part was seeing offsets of vacancies, picking up and covering the situations of unsettled contracts. We had in the FOP for Police Department had 2 years reflected in this, so you'll see some larger increases there, as well as the Local 266, which would be 2 years because of budgeted versus the settling after adoption. For the most part, the 3/4 of this is one salary account to the other. They actually do balance each other out within a couple $1,000s, which is a great thing for finance side of balancing. There are other line items that did require offset by the contingency, for example, the 84,000 contingency. And also on the bottom line, the town aid road. There are line items that are associated with the town aid road grant, such as salt and tree care that appear in other departments. Those transfers go to those departments. So this will bring our general fund department budgets within line.
And I think I say this every year, but this is a zero impact on the budget. It's just moving account balances from one account to the other, so that at the end of the year, they're all within balance where they need to be.
Correct.
So it's not like we're allocating more money, we're just moving money within the accounts to zero it out for anybody that cares about that.
Correct. Thank you.
I will make a motion to approve and put on the Monday Town Council consent agenda the resolution with regards to the transfers of the concentration transfers. That's hard to say. Total of $653,000 going to and from various accounts.
I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 2-0. We'll continue with the transfers. Transfer of funds, non-recurring.
Okay, so this year, at year end, we had 4 items within the general fund that are being recommended to be carried forward into the non-reoccurring for the upcoming year to be expended. That would be the town aid road, $60,000. And again, that goes back to the previous discussion. Town aid road grant was fully expended, but these were covered in by salt and tree care. The sidewalk LoSup, $50,000, would be unexpended for the year. And assessor reval, we do that the past few years, putting aside a portion to accumulate for the next reval. This one is property audits. We had a $10,000 budget line. The property audits are planned for the upcoming year, so transferring to non-recurring would be to our advantage. On the Board of Ed, school improvements, they have an allotted amount for the year for the 22-23. This is the unexpended portion, which would roll into non-reoccurring, and they could use for other projects.
So same caveat to this. This isn't any additional money going into the budget. It's money that we didn't use in the 2022-2023 budget that is moving to the non-reoccurring account for the 23-24 budget.
Correct.
So there is no, just a shift of funds in the period they're being utilized.
Right. So with that, I will make a motion to approve and send to the consent agenda for the Monday, September 18th Town Council meeting, the resolution with regards to the non-recurring reclassifications, I'll call it, or.
Okay, I will second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
So 2-0. Discussion, possible action, transfer special revenue, OPM.
This particular transfer is more of a formality. Ordinarily, our grants will just roll over automatically, which they do. For this particular OPM grant, it was awarded in 21-22, and the expenditures were in the 22-23. They were related to an overtime police project from the OPM. So again, more of a formality to recognize grant receipt in 21-22, rolling into the next fiscal year for expenditure.
I'll make a motion to approve and send to the consent agenda for the Town Council meeting on September 18th, the resolution regarding a special revenue transfer pertaining to police patrol overtime and special police OPM grant.
I'll second. Any discussion? All in favor? Aye. Another 2-0. Last discussion and possible action, tax refund.
Okay, so we have in here, any tax refunds over $10,000 will go to council for approval. This particular one is for Kohl's Department Store. We've probably heard the discussions we've had in the past about the mannequin lawsuit. This is the result. We had a refund to Kohl's for $33,007.66, and that goes over retroactive to 4 years, 4 grand list years.
Okay. Oh, so those are just the different grant, okay, gotcha. Okay. So
correct.
does this put that to bed
It
as far as
does.
that? Okay, so that's
Yes.
the final resolution, we move on from there,
Correct.
okay.
Unless, of course, we wanted to pursue it again, but
I assume at this point.
town
we're
manager not recommending that.
somewhere.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is putting to bed an issue, a lawsuit that's been going on for a number of years. It didn't go in our favor, so now we have to return the funds that we were holding at that point.
Correct.
Excuse me. So I'd like to make a motion to approve and send to the consent agenda for the town council on Monday, September 18th. The resolution with regards to the refund of property taxes to Kohl's Department Stores, in the amount of $33,007.66.
I will second. Any further discussion? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 2-0. Back to the agenda page. Here we go. All right. So that takes care of those items. Update on the special revenue fund.
Okay, so we're in the month of August, so still early in the year, not necessarily a lot of activity. Although I do have numbers in that center column, I probably, before I reach that, point out for the recreation program, we see the 124,000 received, spent 241. Those are the fluctuations that you'll see as they do collections prior to the year end. They'll still continue to balance off with the 200,000. Otherwise, we don't have a lot of activity. I would point out to the ARPA, the 1,181,000, when we were closing out the prior year and talking about how we're funding the 23-24. We had mentioned that we'd be using the 1,080,000 for ARPA, for revenue for the 23-24 general budget. There's additional amount in there is allocated for the license plate reader, the LPR project. So that basically has a balance, but has already been identified for sources. Otherwise, we have private duties at a low balance, but more of a reflection on collections.
So that means we've paid the officers for their duty, but we haven't gotten the money.
Correct.
To okay.
Yeah,
So that's just a timing thing. Okay.
exactly.
There's nothing that jumps out here as really changing, so it's
Right.
in par with where we were the prior months. Anything
Actually,
else?
one quick, so miscellaneous grants of negative 16, or $16,000 of expenditures. Is that for grant writing that we're spending that money, or what is?
No, actually, that is our NIPS grant, and we
Oh.
purchased our Big Belly.
Oh, okay, so, gotcha. So we already received the money, now we're expending.
Correct.
Okay, great.
Good. Have that, I guess, ready for Fall Fest?
That's what we're hoping. I guess it's like an IKEA project. It has to be assembled. So,
Take quite a while.
We have confidence Joe and his crew will handle that.
that's what's happening.
All right, then we'll move on. Update reserve for capital and non-recurring expenditures through August 31st.
So
2023.
as we see, there is basically very little activity at all. There's some collections for repairs from facilities, and I think that is all I have for excitement in there. So not happening and non-recurring yet.
All right. No questions, I assume, on that one?
And just the transfers that we talked about earlier, that's just.
Correct. They will be reflected as they are here.
Yep,
Correct.
sounds good.
All right. And then we'll jump on to item 10, state aid for municipalities.
Okay, so far, through August, we had received 2 of the state aid, the first half of the town aid road grant and the full portion of the motor vehicle transition reimbursement.
Does that motor vehicle reimbursement, I know there's always the conversation about the supplemental. Is that part of that?
No, we'll always have, like,
That'll
the
always be-
supplemental will be like a 1 year after.
Okay, so that, okay,
So it's the amount expected,
Yep.
but the supplemental is reflected in the next
okay, next
calculation.
year.
Yeah.
All right. Any questions, Jeff?
No.
All right. Then we'll keep moving. We're making good time here. Monthly finance report, pre-audit.
Okay, I think we have the highlights. Before I go through my little summary, I'll jump to the tax collector's summary page. And we are at 56%, and again, that's through August. And it's actually, if we look at the 3-year average benchmark, 56% compared to the 53. It looks exciting to have the $2.6 million, but I think I say this probably every year around this time. It's more of a timing issue. We sent out the bills early. We've got some great advanced collections. We'll start to see those percentages probably fall within the benchmark. So I won't spend it all today. It will balance. As far as the other areas, we talked about the state revenues are in. Interest, which we've been enjoying the high levels on that. Don't be concerned. They're at a low point now. We have some CDs that are out, so when the maturities come in, you'll see that reflected. I think we're still doing a great job with investments. We had one line that, for the insurance that looks like it's unusually high. That's our workers' comp reimbursement. That's just a matter of experience early in the year. As far as expenditures, we're still on target. We have I mentioned overtime and part-time. These are for some of the offices that have vacancies. So we're covering it in part-time, so it'll stand out in percentage-wise, but overall, we're still on track. Other than that, I believe we have more timing issues, if anything, paying the MDC. First quarter puts them on a high percentage, prepaying radio services, and so forth. Board of Education's expenditures are through the month of July. At the time of this report, we do have August numbers in now.
Well, I'm glad we're on target with expenditures being only 2 months into the year.
I know.
So,
I'd worry if it wasn't now.
The only one on there, though, I understand we have some vacancies, but we got to kind of keep an eye on the overtime and the part-time if it's beyond the budget.
Correct.
Because we're, like I said, 2 months into the year. And, obviously, if we're putting it into overtime, we have vacancies, that'll be that line item shift.
Right. Exactly. Yes, we actually did post the positions, so we should
Okay.
be filling them up.
Yep.
Just one quick question on fire department prevention, 34.3% used. Is there like a major item that's causing that?
Should be the hydrant services, because they do that like full amount in the beginning of the year.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's it. So
Gotcha. Thank you.
Any others, Jeff?
That was the only one.
Okay. Do we have anything for other?
nothing for other.
Nothing for other. Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you.
Good meeting.